All right, so where do we even begin with this?
That bitch, that catfish tragic. Online savage, real life average. Yes, ma'am, there's a cat.
Now, I'm just kidding, of course. I know exactly where we can begin with it. We can begin by, taking your ass over to patreon.com/Adrian Expression and signing up. As you know, I release a new episode of the Expression podcast every single week. That means the girls are over there right now on Patreon letting me know the topics that they want me to cover on the episode. Like I said, it's going to come out on Tuesday, so make sure that you go over there and let your voice be heard. Now, I know I was just talking about voices that need to be heard, but one that definitely needs to be silenced is 6ix9ine. I'm not sure why he keeps popping up on my timeline. I already told y'all that I'm not interested in seeing that Power Rangers built-ass scalp, built-ass hair that he always loves to flash around. Not interested in hearing anything that he has to say, but apparently Akon was. They were sitting there together playing, I don't know if it's a remix or something, I don't know if he bought the sample, but he and 6ix9ine were over there rocking till locked up and won't let me out. And I said, sis, if that was the case, I wouldn't be having to see his ass on my screen right now. If he truly was locked up and wouldn't let his ass out, he wouldn't be terrorizing me on my computer screens, on my, on my phone screens, TV screens, whatever it is. I want that to be an actual reality. Let me tell you something about this wig, this Ariana Grande built-ass wig that he had on, girl. I just did not expect, out of all the people, for Akon to be the one entertaining this fool. It's just, wow. After a whole, weeks and weeks of dealing with what celebrities were, mouthing off and saying, I was just really not interested in anything that they had to offer, which is why I paid this Dear Graduates 2020, mostly paid it a whole bunch of dust. What was going on there? Chloe and Halle, they performed. It was real cute, as we expected. Remember, they delayed their release of their album, so it should be coming out this week. What else happened? Beyonce got up on there. She told all of y'all to mind your business. She said, don't worry about what me and my husband do. She said, don't worry about what me and my husband do. And she gave a whole lot of encouraging words, like I had to build my own stage. And when people don't let you in, all you have to do is chart your own path. It was very encouraging. 10 minutes of a speech. Lady Gaga was up there, Michelle Obama, everybody. But, like I said, celebrities have been really rubbing me the wrong way. So I decided to pay their ass as much dust as they usually pay us. Now, I will say that Megan Thee Stallion did this whole performance. Well, I think she recorded it in her house or something. She definitely did savage. She did a cute little dance. She had some choreography. She had her friends in the back, dancers in the back. It was real cute. This was the moment that stuck out to me, though. Her ass was definitely doing a split on this couch. If I even tricked myself into thinking that I could attempt to do this, I would just let somebody know to call the paramedics ahead of time. Megan, not sure what Flintstones built vitamins your parents gave you when you were younger, sus. But I definitely need to get on your level. Sis came out of nowhere like Normani with that split. I was here for it. Not gonna talk about it for too long because there's a whole lot of stuff that we have to cover, but since I mentioned Normani, I saw her offering words of support to Leanne from Lil Mix when she was talking about how it is to be the only black girl in a particular group and all of the very racist repercussions that happened because of it. She offered her support. It was really cool. It was really nice to see that, especially given what a lot of black women in the music industry have to go through. Y'all want to hear something funny? Listen to this shit. We, the NFL, condemn racism and the systematic oppression of black people. We, the NFL, admit we were wrong for not listening to NFL players earlier and encourage all to speak out and peacefully protest. We, the NFL, believe Black Lives Matter. I don't want to hear none of this bullshit. I don't want to hear it. It's just crazy to me that it takes dead ass black bodies lying in the street for companies to be like, let's rethink our strategy. And even that is not even true because there were definitely black bodies littered in the street. And that's the whole reason before. And that's the whole reason why Colin Kaepernick felt compelled to kneel down in the goddamn first place. But now all these companies, and it's not just the NFL, it's so many of these companies are coming out talking about, oh my goodness, what's the trend now? What's the wave now? Oh, I guess we're seeing Black Lives Matter. And these companies, they getting their asses out of here? They getting their asses out of here? Okay, well, y'all got the intern. What's going on with the graphic design intern? You can whip something up real quick? Okay, just say some shit, Black Lives Matter, some bullshit, put it in all black and then have the ink be white. You already know how to have the font be white. Let them girls gag for a couple seconds and make sure you tweet that link out to our products. I am not really moved by this bullshit at all. The only thing that I'd be moved by is this apology to Colin Kaepernick. Don't know if that fucking happened yet. And that's just specifically to the NFL. And barely moved by that. I wouldn't even say I'd be moved by that fully. But what really will move our asses is y'all to be opening those purses. Open those purses. All these words and these tweets don't matter. Open up the purse, and specifically to the NFL, open up the purse that these black athletes have filled up to the brim. All types of yachts and shit. Open up the purse, okay? And I know people are gonna say, oh, well, we have to get the message out there, like, we have to move the thing forward. And yes, that is true, but to me, it's like, this shit is now insulting because you're gonna tell me you're gonna ignore the years, not even mentioning the centuries, okay, but the decades full of people who are saying, hey, girl, guess what? We died in the streets. Black Lives Matter. You penalizing people on the field. And then now, because it's such a huge topic, y'all gonna talk about, oh, well, Black Lives Matter. Keep that shit, open your purse up, invest in the communities that need it, otherwise shut the fuck up. That's really it. And a lot of you politicians need to hear that shit too. It's absolutely crazy that people are talking about we're past kneeling and people are still being penalized to do it. Absolutely crazy to me that this was not said at that time, and instead the NFL was trying to figure out a way to profit while also making it look like they were actually doing something, when they could have just said, you know what, girl, we were wrong. Something like this bullshit tweet, I guess, could have happened a long time ago. Really weird. Open your purse. I don't care about anything else. So Billy Porter got a bunch of y'all mad today, and I knew I knew that what he was going to be saying was going to be full of truth. And so that's why I was like, you know what, let me just go see what this man said. Now, he had a whole 16-minute video talking about everything that's going on. White supremacy, talking about police brutality, talking about fighting and coming together as communities. A whole 16-minute video, right? But the one thing that went viral was the minute and something seconds of him talking directly to the black community. And that, the girls are mad. He essentially was saying some of the things that I've been saying. Tish Madison was on Fox. She also said it as well. She was just like, okay, yeah, we're fighting. We're LGBT. We're fighting. We're black LGBT. We're fighting. But every single day, black trans lives are killed. And a lot of times they're killed by the black community. So it's like, yeah, we're fighting. But if you claim to be fighting against this system while you're at the same time using some of their strategies against your own black LGBT brothers and sisters, it's just like, what are you actually doing? What are you actually fighting for? And girl, of course, they were mad at that. They brought up the usual things, the usual talking points. Oh, this is an LGBT agenda. If this is the agenda they're trying to push on us. I'm just like, girl, if we try to push an agenda on y'all, we're very unsuccessful with the way that our asses are still dying, still being kicked out of our homes. It's just like, please, you sound just like the white supremacists that try to silence your black ass. It is what it is. The quicker we join together, the quicker we deal with all the colorism in our community, the homophobia, transphobia in our community, the quicker we come together, the easier, the more efficient it will be for us to fight against the enemy of white supremacy. But people don't see it like that. They want to hold on to whatever white supremacist ideas they have about sexuality and gender. And I bring that up specifically because I remember JK was up there shitting on trans people again this week. And I think we all have to remember, and moving back to the black community, I think we all have to remember that homophobia is a colonial import into Africa, okay? Like, there's a segment of the black community that thinks that white people brought homosexuality and all this sexual deviance to Africa, and that is not the case. They brought white Jesus and they brought homophobia, and that is still internalized, still being internalized. Homophobia is in so many laws across so many societies, right? Still to this day. So I think we have to just do our research. We have to think critically about the things that we're saying, things that we're doing to people in our own community while we're over here claiming that we want to fight for freedom and equality and all this shit, liberation. If your idea of liberation does not include the black LGBT community, you're not for the liberation of all black people. That's just it. And some people are just like, oh, well, you're black first before you're gay. We need to focus on this black thing first before we focus on the gayness. And it's just like, that is the whole idea. That's the whole point of us saying this, is that y'all are trying to separate our LGBT-ness from our blackness. And it's impossible, okay? And if y'all actually thought blackness came before us being LGBT, then we wouldn't be beat, ostracized, kicked out of our families just because, I mean, look how y'all treat Zaya Wade. Kicked out of our families just because we're LGBT. Our blackness would suffice, but obviously it doesn't, right? I hope that people like Billy Porter keep speaking up and making y'all mad, because y'all gonna have to get with the program or get out. I want us all to remember that just because social media is going back to normal, it seems like, doesn't mean that these protests are dying down. Take a look at the amount of people who were at the demonstration in LA this past weekend. Tons and tons of people. Switch over to Philly, who are out on the streets protesting as well. So just because things kind of are settling back to normal on social media online does not mean that we're letting up, that people are shutting up, okay? But I wanted to take a quick break from talking about what's going on in the United States and quickly address what y'all got going over there in the UK, Miss Mamas. What's up, my UK babies? I heard that they done toppled a statue over there and everybody mad. Girl, I heard that they got one of them racist statues. They got them down, they rolled that down. Let me tell you something. Apparently for years, people have been trying to get this statue, and probably other statues as well. But this statue of Edward Colston, taken down. They wanted this racist slaver taken down, right? This man apparently brought like 80 something odd thousand slaves, men, women, and children, just transported them. He's a slaver. He's a slaver. Now, I don't know what's the case specifically going on with the UK, but I know in America, I forgot where I read it, but someone said that a lot of the reasons why they had these statues was to remind black people, like, okay, even though, and like I said, this is just a really quick caveat talking about the US, even though we lost the Civil War, y'all hoes, like, you're still underneath us. I want you to remember that, right? So they erected these statues. Switching back to the UK, this statue has been up since 1895. Let me know if I'm wrong, but that's the research that I did. 1895, this statue has been up. For decades, people have been saying, girl, this is a racist ass slaver. We do not, why would you want him sitting in your society like that? Girl, if you really that pressed, put his ass in a museum. Y'all steal everything else for y'all museum. Put this shit, it's sitting right there. Put that shit in your museum. Girl. They said enough is enough. They swung a rope around this statue like they was Wonder Woman. Do you hear what I'm saying? And they tugged that shit on down like it was somebody's little tired wig. I got my life. Somebody put Proud Mary over this clip of them rolling their ass to the river, rolling that statue to the river, and I got my life. They dumped that shit in the water and called it a day. I never, for the life of me, I don't understand. And people just completely skip over the fact that this man was a slaver and just like, well, you know, it's history. If you just erase things, girl, y'all have had your hand in erasing history, whitewashing history. It does not prevent us from finding it out. I promise you, dumping his racist ass in the water will not erase what happened, because we still experiencing it, okay? I was like, goodness, y'all is this mad about it? The Home Secretary over there, what's her name? Preeti Patel, she said this was utterly disgraceful. How could anybody, it's just mob mentality, completely unacceptable, sheer vandalism. And she, you know, she wanted the police to open up an investigation to see who did it. The police, I think, are opening up an investigation to see who did it. But it just goes to show you that instead of doing the work of actually having real conversations about the racist legacy that goes on in the UK, but also in the United States, instead of doing the real work and uncovering the truth and dealing with that and repairing it, instead of, they just want to just close their eyes, pretend like, oh my gosh, would you want everybody going down, knocking down monuments, girl? It's like, yeah, there's a whole lot that need to be knocked down. Don't want to talk about the legacy of racism, but they're upset about a goddamn statue. But if y'all want that statue so damn bad, you better go down into the depths and go fish his ass up like you a damn archaeologist, boo. So I want to talk about the Game of Thrones style treatment that the mayor of Minneapolis, Jacob Frey, went through, okay? So I don't know if he thought shit was gonna be sweet. Maybe it's because of a lot of y'all who are just like, you know, doing the Macarena with the police and shit. So maybe he thought that if he came out, shit would be real sweet. Here he is doing, I don't know if it's a Cupid shuffle or something. It's very difficult for me to tell, of course, without the music, but also given that the beat he seems to be struggling with. But yeah, you know, so he's out here dancing and shit, to the right, to the right, to the right. Where a lot of y'all Democratic politicians go, to the right, to the right, to the, is, you know, giving me very much to the left. Now they kicked his ass out of there. Of course, it was at a demonstration, at a protest, eventually found himself near, I don't want to call it the stage, but the stage. And the girls up there were just like, hey, so you're the mayor, right? We want to know if we can count on you. Will you commit to defunding the police here in our community? And you know, she gave the clarification, say, hey, everybody shut up. I need to hear what he's gonna say, right? Remember, he's up for re-election. Sis gave him back the mic and he said, no, I can't commit to doing it. I can't do it. Girl, they put his ass through. I thought the scepter was nearby, the way that, you know, I was hearing a bell in my head. Shame, giving Cersei Lannister teeth. I mean, walked his ass down. Just said, go home, Jacob, go home.
Go home! Go home, Jacob, go home! Go home, Jacob, go home! Shame, 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 shame.
They didn't beat his ass. They didn't choke him out. They just told his ass to go home. This is exactly the type of treatment we need to be given to a lot of these politicians. We don't need to be kissing their ass. We don't need to be soaking up the performative bullshit. Look at how his ass was crying over here about George Floyd. You know, right in front of his casket, doing all this performance. But when it comes to actually solving the issues and solving the problems, well, no, I cannot commit to doing that. That's fine, boo. That's okay. Just take your ass home. That's exactly what they told him. I don't know the specifics and the logistics of what's going on here, but Minneapolis said it's going to be disbanding its police department. I'm not sure specifically what that means because it's not abolishing it, it's disbanding it. I also saw that certain school districts were canceling their contracts with the police. So it's just things like that, I think, are movement in the right direction, right? But yeah, I just want us to have all this same type of attitude when it comes to these politicians and shit who think they about to be Cupid shuffling their way out of things, painting streets, changing signs and painting the streets, performing their way out of actual, real, systemic, financial policy change. Get on their ass. Anyway, y'all, I love y'all so much. Make sure that you're checking out patreon.com/AdrianExpression. Thank you all. Thank you to all my new and old patrons who are checking it out. Love you so much. Stay safe and sane, and make sure that you have a good goddamn evening.